Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. Our scenario is entitled Homecoming. It was written by Thomas McKeon, who is also our game master, and for tonight, he's going to be giving the recap. That's a lot of hats to wear. This is episode 7. And so, without further delay, let's continue our journey into the darkness. Thomas?
Thanks, Tom. Though not much action happened last episode, quite a lot of information was handed over to the players. Last episode started out with Hawk alone in the suite, who was visited by Bethany. Earlier that night, Bethany forced the players out of the Tucker home after Hawk began questioning her about her family. Bethany takes this opportunity with Hawk to inform him of the reason she reacted the way she did. According to her, she and her siblings were abused by their father until they fled the family estate. After that brief interaction, however, she leaves, leaving Hawk alone in the suite. On the other end of town, the others find themselves meeting an investigative journalist named Greta Strutton. She informs the players that she followed them from the Tucker home, thinking they may be involved in the state investigation into City Hall. Greta tells the players everything she can about what's been going on and what she believes is going on. Apparently, City Hall, and every appendage of it, has been corrupted under the leadership of Mayor Jimmy Walker. Walker's imprisoned opponents used the police as a personal brute squad and even, supposedly, ordered the murder of those wishing to testify against him. Governor Roosevelt, in a response to such claims, ordered the creation of the Seabury Commission, under leadership of one Judge Seabury. The Seabury Commission is tasked with rooting out any corruption it can find and, if necessary, remove Walker from office. State investigators have apparently been digging into City Hall and the conjoined municipality building, with one telling Greta there's been an unnamed mole inside the city planner's office, feeding them information. Greta believes that Timothy was, in fact, that mole, and that the reason for his disappearance is connected to the corruption at City Hall. She provides the group with a means to get inside the municipality building and, in conjunction, the city planner's office. She also teases the players with more information she's keeping from them, holding it hostage until A, she knows they're on the level, and B, they provide her with information they gather from the city planner's office, as they refuse to talk to her. She provides them with a card telling them to call her when they know more to schedule some kind of meeting. The players then can reconvene at the hotel after Hawk has a strange paranormal experience in the suite. They there decide to split off into groups the next morning, which is where we begin tonight's session. I am sorry for the quick recap, but we have a lot to cover this episode. Okay. We're going to start with Tom. Tom, you wanted, I have my little list.
Hawk.
Hawk. Yes, Hawk. You wanted to go to the bank for information and then Finley to get the police report.
Right.
What is your goal at the bank? What are you?
We left the bank last time with trying to find out if this what was his name? W. Darby had cashed the check and where he might be located.
Okay. To quickly answer that, because it going through it would be a lot of minutia that it would be unnecessary.
Okay.
The bank is still looking into it. They said they'd call you when they have more information.
All right.
So you also wanted to go talk to Finley.
Well, to get the police report if
Yes.
he's got it.
Okay. Okay. So Marcus is probably at the Tucker home.
Okay.
Do you want to meet him elsewhere, maybe at the hotel or something like that, or do you just want to go straight there?
Well, I assume that once he's got it, because I've asked him for it, he'll call me or he'll tell me.
Okay.
He's got it. But let's say that I do, in fact, go over to the Tucker home looking for him, make sure he's got it or is going to give it to me, and maybe this time is kind of a peace offering. I'll bring a little pink box of I don't know, pastries of some sort
Okay.
from Maestro's Pastries.
Oh, Maestro's has a pastry franchise now.
It's completely different Maestro's.
Oh, is it spelled differently?
Yeah.
Oh.
No.
No, spelled the same.
There's some copyright issues there, but they don't care back then.
Oh, okay. All right. So you head to the house with your peace offering. Beautiful day, I should say to everyone. It's a very, very pretty day. Warm spring. New York is just coming out of winter. So you pull up to the house.
Is this the 8th?
This is the 8th.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
So you've pulled up. The cab has let you out. What would you like to do?
I'm going to walk up to the front door. I look around. Kids out playing. What day is it? It's
Let's find out. I don't have my calendar in front of me just this moment. Let's see. Let me pull it up. It is Wednesday.
okay.
So I'd say it's around noon. The bank didn't take that long.
Okay.
Because they just literally just spouted out what I told you was, we're looking into it. We'll call you if something else happens.
Right.
So
I went to the pastry shop, and there were ladies in line, and
so there's no kids out. It's rather quiet in the neighborhood right now.
All right.
People are at work. All right. So what would you like? Give me a spot hidden.
Okay. Oh, let's see. Spot hidden, a 70. I got an 81, so I don't see anything.
Do you want to push it?
All right, I'll push it. Am I going to go blind?
Yes.
Am I going to get a pencil in the eye?
What you don't see is the incoming cup of acid being flung at your face.
I'm going to be honest, so
okay.
I'm going to roll these dice, and so help me, I hope it's not a 90 or something.
Okay.
Makes me very nervous thinking about that. 27, so past it. It's better than half.
I want to ask Tom the player a question. Have you noticed me asking you to give me spot hiddens?
Not particularly. I mean, other than the regular gameplay.
Okay, have you noticed that I've been asking you to give me spot hiddens and I tell you nothing? So
you're building up for something.
Hawk turns, you're looking around, and what you see off in the distance, it's down, because in these Queens suburbs, it's just like literal blocks.
Right.
So you can literally see just all the way down this street.
Right.
Way off in the distance, there is a small figure. It's a blip. It's blurred. That's how far out it is. It's just a small little blip on the horizon. Right in the center of the street. Damn it, David.
There's a damn barking dog next door, too. Okay, I see this little blip on the horizon.
It looks vaguely human-shaped. It's like the silhouette of a man or a woman really, 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 really far off in the distance.
Okay.
It's not moving, it's stationary.
I wouldn't find that unusual. There's people.
Well, it's standing in the middle of the street. It's completely motionless still. It's not moving forward. It's not going farther away. It's just, it's so...
Well, by estimate, how far away?
I'd say at least 10 blocks.
So I guess if I see it, I notice it, but I don't think about it. Some dirty J is standing in the middle of the street.
And so you think that, and you said you were looking around the street, right? So
yeah, I mean, I'm looking. I've got an eye, so I keep an eye out for things going on.
You look south, you see it. You turn and look north. It's up north too. Same place. Directly, it is. It's pretty much center of the eye line.
And I see it in both directions.
You see it in both directions. Now, the Tucker house is in front of you, and there's a house, behind you. But yeah,
well, that's weird. So I'm gonna step back down to the curb.
Okay.
And make sure there's no trees or cars in my way, and see if I, squint my eyes, see if I can see more clearly what this thing is or what this person is doing, and I'll keep checking to see if it's still in both directions.
Yeah, you look, it's in both directions. You kind of squint, and it kind of makes out a human shape. But it's still it's so blurred and so far off.
Far away. Well, I'll keep that in mind, but now I'm going to head up to the house.
Okay. That's all I wanted to make you aware of.
All right.
All right, so you make your way up to the house. You knock on the door. Who should open it but Finley himself, rolled up sleeves, still wearing the mustard, colored pants. And he goes, Hawk, wasn't expecting you here. I was just about to call you.
Mr. Finley, just thought that I'd drop by. Are the ladies home?
Oh, no, they're out going to see a movie. The Public Enemy just came out, so.
It's noon. Okay. Well, I hold up the little pink box of pastries, and I say, well, then maybe we can have some of these. May I come in?
Oh, yeah, of course. Not my house. And he kind of pushes open the door and allows you to step inside. And you can see now he's as he pushes open the door, he's got a cigarette in his right hand. He's been smoking in the house now that they're gone.
I ignore that, but I say, so Mr. Finley, do you have any information for me on the murder the other night? The suicide murder.
Well, I sure do. And he walks into the dining room, and you can see, and what you can see is a set of loose papers. And he says, I went to go talk to Detective Bryant. He's the guy that was on the case. He wouldn't really tell me much, but I got these. And he holds up the loose papers. And you can see that they're police reports. And he says, I don't think...
Was it Detective Bryant or Brian?
Bryant with a T at the end.
Okay. He says,
I'm going to rush over to see you.
Well, I sit down, at the table, and I say, well, let's see what we've got here.
And Marcus, he kind of stands behind you and he crosses his arms and says, well, may not be what you're looking for. You have law enforcement, so give me a law roll.
Oh, I got a 10. A 10 out of 45, so a better than half. Almost a extreme.
First thing that you notice is that there isn't an autopsy report, but this is New York City, and they've only got one chief medical examiner.
Right, and there's probably bodies all the time. So
yeah. So they're probably, they probably haven't done it. They're probably just prioritizing it. But I'm just letting you know, you don't see an autopsy. In fact, in the cause of death, it says suicide speculated. And as you're going through it, you can see Brian's notes on the scene. The detective, he speculates that Arthur probably first had a drink in the kitchen. before breaking the light bulbs with his bare hands, which are indicated by the cuts on the inside of Arthur's palms. He then removed the ice pick from the freezer, went into the bathroom, and hammered his eyes out. And then his dying action was writing her on the mirror. Bryant is pretty comfortable in writing several times that Arthur is mentally shaken because this room was in complete disarray, and no sane person would jab their eyes out with an ice pick. It's also indicated that he was unstable because of the drawings that were found in the waste bin of that figure, which Brian believes is, drawings of hallucinations. But he doesn't see any show of a struggle between two individuals. It just seems like the stumblings of a drunk man who was also mentally shaken and then stabbed his own eyes out. The document also reveals that the strips of towel underneath the bed, Bryant believes that what was on it was earwax. It also says there was no forced entry. There weren't any signs of a struggle, getting in. So that's really all.
All right. Now, this might be between me and the GM at this point, but
okay.
Am I incorrect in remembering that all of the towels and things had been shredded and
yes,
were all under the bed?
That is correct.
Well, okay, now see what, okay, now for Hawk, I'm thinking, why all of those things, if he's trying to plug his ears, what, did he just keep getting it wrong? Why is there all this is literally a pile of towels under his bed and earwax all over them? Where did he get all that? How much earwax does the human ear have? Not that much.
It wasn't so much, but because if there's earwax on him, what I'm going to say is or tell you is Hawk and Tom, he had to be jamming those things in there.
Yeah, but after one or two pieces, he would have pretty much cleared out his earwax. Yeah, the way it sounded when you told Jeff was like this goo
covered
all over everything.
No, it's a mixture of earwax, and because you're constantly shoving something rough in there, it grates on the ear canal, which creates a pus.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not fun. Trust me, ladies and gentlemen, I know what I'm talking about.
So I have earwax problems myself. So as I go back through all of the documents, is there anything else that stands out?
No, just that Bryant is, from what he's writing, he's fairly confident that this was a suicide. But they'll know more when the autopsy occurs.
What I can't understand also, and now I'm speaking to Finley, what doesn't make any sense is the ice pick itself was badly damaged, badly bent. And ice picks are pretty damn tough. You're using them like this to break chunks of ice off. The bone that's in the back of your eye is one of the thinnest in the body. It's like a playing card thickness. Your ice pick would just go right through it without any trouble at all. I wonder if he could have been stabbed or wounded in some other way. It would make a very small puncture wound. I feel almost like I need to take a look at that body, or at least get to the morgue and see if I can get the morgue guy, the mortician. Is he a mortician? No,
chief medical examiner.
Medical examiner. See what he finds out. At least put in the word that I need that information. This all seems like I'm barking up a dead tree.
Wow.
So, well, Finley, thank you very much. I'm hoping now to find out from the bank some more information, but those the pastries are for the ladies, but if you want one or two or just whatever, I think I'm going to leave.
That's fine. Let me go. And he collects the papers and he says, "Don't want Brian noticing he's missing these."
Oh no, can I? Oh, so you actually took those.
And he kind of smiles at him and says, "Whatever it takes to get it done."
Well, my guess is that if it's a suicide, he's got so many other things on his plate that he's just going to toss those aside. Anyway, he probably won't notice. I will. I'll see you later, Finley.
And as you're walking away, Finley goes, and sorry about Bethany that night, and
not a problem. I've already talked to her.
Oh, you did? Well, I mean, I would have done the same thing as you personally, but she just hates people like us,
And I continue to the door.
All right. So.
Leave wordlessly.
All right.
Now, as I leave, do I see the figure still out there?
Yes.
I'm going to hop in my car and drive in one of those directions.
Sure. You get in a cab and you drive, but it's always that far away. It never gets closer and it never gets farther.
It's got to be some sort of weird optical illusion.
Yeah. It's like, a floater. It's like that, but it's stationary. It's not moving with your eye. It's just it's weird to describe other than it is like a stationary floater.
Like a mirage.
Kind of, yes.
It's there, but you can't get any closer to it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'm going to head back to the hotel.
All right. We are now going to jump to Fowler and Epstein. So Felix, Fowler has his own apartment. So you guys were going to meet at the municipality building. Felix, what you find is it's a grand building, by the way. It's 45 stories tall, enormous, gorgeous architecture. However, at the street level, at Central Street, the entrances are basically surrounded by police in riot gear. In 1930 riot gear, it looks like medieval armor. It's just like slabs of steel and a helmet.
Ned Kelly.
Yeah. And why they're wearing riot gear is because on Central Street, basically surrounding the entrance, is a very large group of people who are protesting. And they're shouting, and they're calling the cops pigs, and they're shouting stuff like, it should be you that's lynched, they're shouting some really fucked up stuff to these cops. They're trying to get them to attack them so that a fight can be. Some of them are holding like bricks and just like doing this. The ones in the front are like swinging bricks out at them. They're like 15 feet away, but they're trying to provoke some kind of action.
Is anyone holding any banners? Is it possible to see what the protest?
Oh yeah, it's and there's and as you kind of as the cab drives away, you're looking at the ground, you can see that there are flyers, like white paper, black text that says "Down with Walker," and it's basically just it's a mixture of probably two or three different protests. One of them is basically voter equality. The other one is an anti-establishment kind of thing, and then the other one is just like an overall like fuck Mayor Walker, like he's fucking us dry. He's basically raping the city.
Seemed like a decent enough bunch of chaps.
However, now so you're seeing this as you're kind of looking around. Fowler is late. Fowler is not there. Do you want to wait for him?
Wait, well, I mean, how late is he? Am I on time or am I early?
I'd say that you're on time. He's not there though. He was supposed to
Well,
meet you.
I'll give it a couple of minutes, but no longer than that. I don't really like standing out here with bricks flying around all over the place.
So you wait, and you wait. It takes him about 10 minutes before you see his car kind of like coming down the road.
Oh, what's he doing driving down here? Who drives into a riot?
And you see Fowler, park off to the side just before the building, and he gets out, and he kind of rushes towards you.
Sorry I'm late, Felix. I had to do a quick errand before I had to get here.
In a riot, I'm standing while I'm waiting for you. There's a riot.
Like I said, I'm sorry. It was
Come on, let's just
important.
Let's just get in there.
Yeah, let's get in there.
All right.
Okay, so up we go to the police around the door.
All right. So you start trying to make your way towards the door, trying to like push your way through. There's no barricade. It's a protest without a barricade. They know that if they get too close, police will push them back. So they're just kind of holding the perimeter. So you can push past them, and as you approach, two things happen. The first of which is the cops. They don't. You can see you see them kind of straighten up, and they raise their billy club as if they're going to approach and strike you. But when they see that you're just like walking towards the door, they kind of just begin lowering their stuff, and they're like glaring at you. So that's the first thing. The second thing is as you break through the crowd, it seems like some of the people in the front think that you're politicians of some kind, and they begin screaming stuff like "fuck you" and "scabs" and all this, horrible shit as you're approaching the door.
Well,
So,
sticks and stones.
all right. So you enter. Well, it's more like sticks and bricks. But so you guys enter. As soon as you enter, it's very quiet. It's like a library.
That's quite odd.
It's not so much odd. There are people around, but it's very hushed, very tense inside the building. You're immediately struck with tension. And as you enter, you can see that the right wall is it's got basically a hierarchy portrait system of like Roosevelt's at the top, and then the mayor, the borough presidents, and then everyone. It literally has photos of everyone in charge. And you guys enter. You see that there is a contacts desk. There are aides kind of running around. There are politicians standing around talking. There are cops basically in every single corner of this place, just standing there, just like looking around, prepared for the worst. And as you enter into the main part of the lobby, several aides, they kind of turn to you because you don't look like them. You're not, you don't have briefcases, you don't have any, you're just two guys walking in, especially Fowler. They'd recognize Fowler. One aide begins approaching you, and then two officers begin approaching you. And before he even stops in front of you, the aide's like, "I'm sorry, gentlemen, we're closed."
Well, we're just on our way up to the city planner's office.
Well, I don't think that there's anybody up there. And he kind of smiles at you.
Well, I think we might just go and have a look.
And the aide with the two police officers kind of just like they're there, but they're just waiting. And the aide says, "Well, can you please explain your business with the city planner's office? Are you?"
Yes. My business is connected with my rights under the Open Meeting Act.
And immediately you say that, and his face kind of just like drains the color, and he says, Yes. Okay. And he doesn't really say. He's just kind of just like he's trying to stammer for like trying to say something other than "you're closed." Do you need a subpoena or something else like that?
Okay.
Could you direct us to the? I was going to say lifts, isn't it? To the elevators, please.
And he points. There's a series of stairs that lead up to an elevated platform or something like that. Something like that. And there is the elevators that take you up to the two wings of the building.
And I say before that, I said thank you, and we continue on to the.
And the aide is, it's difficult to get a gauge on his face or like his expression, whether it's confusion or worry or whatever. It's just kind of like a mixture, like shock. It's just like it seems like their go-to is, what is your business here? Are you a reporter? If you're a reporter, get the fuck out. We're not talking to the press. Are you a police officer? If not, you need a subpoena. And are you part of the citizenship? Sorry, no one's up there. Can't go up there. The doors are locked. So you've kind of just like gone through the holes of the bureaucracy. Their little wall that wasn't really a wall. It wasn't really anything. It was just all talk. Okay, so you
like a paper wall, kind of.
Well, yeah, especially for law enforcement. Like if you guys were to walk in and go, "Hi, we're investigating," they would have been like, "You need a subpoena. You're not coming back. You're not going up."
I'm expecting to deal with a magician.
No, they weren't.
That was their flaw.
All right, so you go up to the 23rd floor, I believe.
23.
23. All right. The doors open, long hallway, rows and rows and rows and rows and rows and rows of doors. It's louder up here. You can hear the clacking of typewriters and people talking in the rooms, and you can see because there's frosted glass on the doors, and you can see different titles. But this is definitely not the city planner's office. These are just like different offices, different different departments. And you can kind of see their people's shadows as they walk around and people working inside. But it's a very long hallway.
Okay. I guess the only option then is to keep walking down the hallway until we encounter a door that says City Planner's Office. Then.
Yes. And you do find that it's at the very end on the corner. It says City Planner's Office. And it's got the names of everyone in charge. You can see, William Convers. You can see all the names. However, you can see that there's a gap between the four administrators who are in charge. And if you were to make it out, if you were very finely focused, you could see where they chipped the paint off, and it says City Architect Timothy Tucker. So it looks like they've chiseled his name off the door, since it doesn't work there anymore. All right. So, what would you like to do?
Well, I'll knock and go in.
All right. So you knock. You knock and you go in. Doors aren't locked. Why would they be locked? And you immediately enter. It's rather small, actually. It's just really so there's a small bullpen in the middle with several desks, and there are different people all sitting at the desk typing or writing. You can see that there's some building plans scattered here and there, and then there are 4 doors that probably go off to close offices. And like I said, the bullpen is a mess of papers, schematics, permits. There are aides, interns, assistants, assistant architects, and they're all doing different things. They're all doing their own little. They're all in their own little world, except for one intern, who's a very young man who sees you, and he approaches and he says, "Can I help you, gentlemen?"
Yes, well, I hope so, and I'll just pause for a moment and just dramatically pause for a moment and just look around the office as though looking for someone I'm expecting to see, and just say, I was hoping to see Mr. Tucker.
Mr. Tucker.
Yes, the city architect.
He doesn't work for us. Can I ask who you are? Are you with another department?
No, my name's Felix Epstein. I'm a member of the public.
Oh, and when you say that, his eyes go wide, and he says, and he doesn't say anything. He then just kind of moves away from you.
Excuse me, young man.
And he walks away. He leaves. And he immediately goes over to a desk.
Well, I never.
And he's talking to people, and people are like looking up, and they're looking at you.
Okay, so we'll go.
I'm giving it about 30 seconds, and then I'm going to start lighting off a cigarette in their office. Which actually it's the 30s. No one would care. Doesn't
no one will. So I'd like to now bring attention to the doors, because the doors do have names, much like the front door that had the names of the administrators on it, the people in charge of this department. This very, I wouldn't say small. It's not small, but it's a very open. The city planner's office is confined to really like this main room and then 4 offices, and those offices going in clockwise order. They read on the doors. They read William Convers, Department Administrator, Harrison Giles, Zoning Manager, Assistant Director of Operations, Orville Kelvin, Executive Assistant to the Committee, and then on the door that's just to your right, you can see that the print has been stripped from the door, but it reads Timothy Tucker. What still reads on the frosted window, it says Timothy Tucker, City Architect.
Oh, I'm going to walk over there and again make a perfunctory knock on the door, and then go to open the door.
That door is locked.
I say to Felix, hey, well, didn't she say, Greta say that Conver and Giles were the people we should talk to?
I hope you're whispering that.
Yes, I kind of go kind of.
Well, as soon as you guys, said we're members of the public, it kind of just went very quiet. They're still moving around, they're still talking, but they're, everything they're now saying to each other is very confined to just them. Like, you just hear kind of mutterings. Bless you.
Sorry, I had a couple of drinks before.
Gott in Himmel. I think then I will. If no one's going to help me, then I'm just going to go straight to the top, and knock on the door of Mr. Convers.
Before you do that, can you give me a listen roll?
Both of us?
Just Felix, because he was approaching the door.
Okay.
He was approaching the door or not?
Out of 40, so it was a regular pass.
Okay. It's very clear that there are 2 people inside. You can see their movements in the frosted glass, but you can hear a very muffled conversation. And what you hear is, Harry, please think about this, okay? And you then hear a slightly deeper voice and say, no, I told you, if you approve that line change, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. It's too much. Don't you think I know that, Harry? You're not the only one getting fucked here, too. Look, you know he's not just going to let you walk out of all of this. You're in a bind. I did what I had to. The other voice then says, and I'm doing what I have to. I'm leaving. I'm not dealing with this anymore. Whatever happens, happens. And the main voice, the first voice you heard, says, you're not thinking about talking to. The other voice then replies, I've thought about it. I won't fucking lie. It is missing, Bill, which means they've probably got a hold of it already. Now, Timothy's gone, and don't pretend you don't know who did it. I'm not dealing with these people anymore. I'm not going to turn up dead. I'm sorry, Bill. I'm done. And that's when the door opens inward, and out comes a man. He's wearing glasses. He's wearing kind of a brown suit. He's not old, but he's older. He's got wrinkles, he's got frown lines. He just kind of pushes past you. And the man inside, who he's bald, and his suit coat is off. He's unbuttoned his shirt. He's kind of like sitting behind. He's standing up behind the desk with his hands, pressed up, and he's leaning out, and he's shouting, "Giles!" And he immediately sees you in the door, Felix, and he stands up. At first, there's an initial shock. And then he stands up and he kind of, pats out his shirt. Says, "Can I help you?"
I damn well hope you can. What kind of screwy 2-bit operation are you running here? I've been standing out there for 5 minutes being ignored by everyone in that room. And I'm supposed to be here for a meeting with Mr. Tucker. What the hell's going on?
And he immediately... He kind of squints his eyes, and that kind of fake, happy, like, "Oh, what can I do for you?" kind of just leaves. And he goes, "Who the hell are you?"
Epstein, Felix Epstein.
You said you're here for a meeting with
meeting with Tucker. Yes, I've got a proposal for a rooftop golf driving range. I had to talk to him about about designing the barriers for it, the safety barriers.
Give me a fast talk.
Ooh, 15 out of 63. That's a hard, very nearly an extreme.
And he kind of stares at you for a moment. And then he kind of stares at you for a moment, and then he looks down at his desk and he begins like flipping through a planner, and he goes, "I didn't know that Timothy had anything for today." and he kind of says that to himself, but you can hear it because it's a very and he slams it shut, and he goes, "Well, Mr. Epstein, unfortunately, Mr. Tucker, he quit just recently."
He quit? Well, shouldn't someone have phoned me to tell me not to come in for a meeting if he quit?
Yeah, yes. I'm sorry. We don't know he quit. I'm taking care of all of his matters until we can find a replacement. Come in, sit down. We'll get this hammered out.
Yeah, well, I mean, for a start, I mean, well, look, I want to know what's happened to he and I had a couple of meetings before. We had a good working relationship going. I mean, I haven't got all of the blueprints and the proposals with me. He knew everything already. I wasn't prepared to have to explain everything from scratch to you.
Well, if you can just, if you want to just come in and sit down, we'll have an intern go to City Hall and we'll get the blueprints that were listed. Timothy, he filed everything away before he left, thankfully. So we'll probably still have your blueprints, everything that he had in his office. I don't think we saw anything with your name on it. So come in and sit down. We'll get this hammered out for you. And he's taking this very seriously. And he says, but you do know that the municipality building, it's currently closed to the public right now. Yes.
I kind of go closer and said, "Yes, we know."
And who are you? And he points to Fowler. I feel like I've seen you before.
Oh, this is my associate.
And
I just let that hang.
Yeah. Let me do a roll here really quick. All right, he got a 90. And the man who you can only assume is Converse. He's in his office and he's behind the desk. He goes, well, gentlemen, if you can come in, just take a seat here. And then he points at two kind of leather chairs sitting directly in front of the desk. And he sits down and he takes out a pen and a notepad and he says, well, tell me everything that you can about the plan, everything that you...
Well, look, Mr. Converse, can I...
And I basically kind of shut the door behind me.
Okay.
Can I be candid with you, Mr. Converse?
Yes. What is that? What?
We're both men of the world. I don't think either of us are particularly naive. And you and I believe, know how things operate at City Hall. Now, Mr. Tucker is what you might call a friend of mine. And I had been led to believe that there would be no problem with my proposal being approved. Now I find suddenly that he has disappeared. You can understand that I'm perhaps a little nervous that my donation towards his office expenses may potentially have been wasted. This would put me in a rather invidious position, as I'm sure you can understand, particularly in the current climate.
Well, as I said, we have Mr. Tucker's easels over here, and he points in the corner. You can see propped up easels. He says, "Well, and I've gone through them. It doesn't look like any of your plans are in there. You said you wanted." And he seems to be kind of bypassing, your frustration as best as he can, or your fake frustration. He goes, well, if you can just give me your information, I'll have an intern go to City Hall and we'll remove the plans and from the Hall of Records, and we'll bring it out here and we'll just discuss everything that you discussed with Mr. Tucker. I apologize for not letting you know. I could have sworn we contacted everyone, and he begins once again flipping through the planner.
Well, I mean, while we're on the subject, I mean, that young intern out there is one of the rudest people I think I've ever met.
Oh, and I will.
I mean, the fella walked away while I was talking to him. I'm not sure if that's how you do business here, but it's certainly not how I do business.
Well,
in Brooklyn, where I'm from.
Well, Mr. Epstein.
You can tell from my accent.
Well, Mr. Epstein, you have to understand that we're currently dealing with some internal issues right now. Some internal issues that are best left out of the public eye. I'll definitely talk with him and see. I'll have a talk with all of them. But we usually, right now, in the past few weeks, we haven't had anyone from the public up here. We tried to contact everyone and let them know that any appointments would be... Is
there no way at all of getting in touch with Mr. Tucker? I mean, I'd feel if I could at least talk to him and see if he's done the schematics.
Unfortunately, we don't think there's any... there's been any contact with Mr. Tucker. I know that there was a police investigation. I'm not sure of the details.
A police investigation? What you're telling me now that this man was subject to a police investigation?
Yeah, well.
Yeah, that is kind of serious.
Well, you have to understand that we don't really associate with Mr. Tucker anymore. As you can see, he has quit. He's left. But I'm here now, and he leans forward, clasping his hands. So let's go over the details. Where exactly? You said you're from Brooklyn, so
yes,
that zone.
the business will be in Brooklyn. It's well, there are actually two alternative locations for it. We haven't decided which one we want to work with yet. It's really down to which one is better for zoning.
So you don't have an official commercial center yet.
Well, no, that was what I was discussing with Mr. Tucker. You see.
Well, unfortunately, we don't really do retail here, and he kind of chuckles at that.
No. I think you misunderstand. We're not in the business of trying to buy a property. We already have two properties. We just
you're saying
which one we're going to use to establish this business on the top of. I mean, but basically, they both have the same floor space, if you will.
And you've already scheduled you've already had an inspection, or do you need to schedule one?
Well, we've already had an inspection, and the inspector flagged up the fact that we needed to install the safety netting, obviously, because you can't have people pitching golf balls off the top of a high building in a city without some sort of safety provision, as I'm sure you understand.
And he kind of chuckles at that, and that's when the door knocks, and a man, he opens the door and says, Mr. Converse, Mr. Kelvin would like to speak to you for just a moment. And he kind of smiles and says, I'll be right back, gentlemen. And he kind of steps outside and closes the door. Anything you'd like to do?
Well, I mean, first of all, I'm going to have a look at everything that's on the desk.
Yeah. No, that's exactly what I'm going to do, too. It's like...
Well, first of all, let's just look at everything.
I'll do that sort of that memory man trick where you look at everything in the tray and memorize it.
Okay.
And go.
And go. Okay.
No, I'll have a look at what's on the desk.
Okay. And
Dex.
You're doing the same thing, Dexter?
Yeah, I'm gonna look around. See kind of underneath the. Just check everywhere.
Sure. Go ahead and Felix and Fowler give me library use rolls. Actually, yeah, give me library use rolls.
Nope, 88 out of 40.
Okay. What about Mr. Fowler?
No, I failed by 10.
In that case, I'm going to look in the waste paper bin.
Okay. You begin digging through, and give me a spot hidden.
Oh, yeah. Okay, 36 out of 68.
Okay. Before I divulge any information, what is Fowler doing?
I was, just, trying to check on the desk, on the desk. But then if I can't really find any information, I am going to look kind of, under the desk or under, and see if I can find really anything.
Oh, could I just say that while I'm rooting around, I'm doing this with an unlit cigarette in my hand.
Oh, okay. All right. So let's see here. Felix, what you find is this.
Would you like me to read it?
Yeah, go ahead and read it out loud.
Dated April the 4th, 1931, from the desk of Harrison Giles. Bill, this is urgent. I don't know what's going on, but I just got a call from City Hall saying we need to rezone Zoning District 44 to cover everything from West 150th all the way to West 143rd. Apparently, one of our benefactors called in saying they wanted it done. I know that you don't need any more stress in this investigation, but they seriously can't change zoning lines, can they? Dozens of buildings will be out of compliance. It'll be mass chaos for tons of people, not to mention us. We've already got Seabury looking for trouble. This will give it to him. Bill, Walker and his guys say they want this done today. I'll leave it up to you on what we do, but I'm not sending the letters to people saying they need to fix their homes or demolish them. That'll be on you. And if you decide to go through with it, no hard feelings, but I'm out after that. I didn't want this position so I could make a few guys with money happy. I have a feeling the jig is up anyways. Just let me know what you want to do.
All right.
I'm going to pocket that.
Okay. You go ahead and pocket it. So you begin hearing converse and another human being. There are other human beings outside. It's just one of them. They're approaching the door. I would like Fowler to go ahead and give me another spot hidden.
I got a 15. Just give me a second here. And
I'm going to assume a 15 is a pass.
Yes, it's a pass. I was just seeing if it was extreme or not.
What you find by pulling out one of the drawers on accident as you lift yourself up off the floor is a leather-bound ledger. It is the exact same color, the exact same size as the one you found in Tucker's home. It's got the same seal. It's got everything. It's another ledger.
How big is this? Can I out of game? Can I put it underneath my? Would it leave a mark or leave kind of a?
I mean, it would be noticeable for Converse to reach in and open the drawer and then go, "Hey, look, the ledger's missing. I hope it wasn't those two guys from the public."
No,
one of whom gave his real name.
So,
ledgers are large. They're like 17 by 11.
Yeah. It would be very noticeable, not only that, the fact that it would be missing, a state ledger would be missing, but it's
I just realized that I illustrated how big it was by doing this
yes.
in a tiny screen.
Yeah, I know.
No. Okay.
You have really small hands.
No sense of scale. I do have really small hands, actually.
Okay.
Tiny little man.
Converse is going to be back in this next turn. What do you want to do? You can hear him. He is coming.
I'm going to sit back in the chair and lean across the desk. Just sort of lean on the desk and start looking over the desk again. Just looking around at it, but ostensibly looking for an ashtray.
Okay. The door.
If there is an ashtray, I'll start pulling
just before you go, I put it back, and actually, I will rip it. Just rip a page out. Or rip a couple of pages out, and
give me a luck roll if you're going to rip a page out.
Oh.
Hey. Ooh, that's close.
Is it that? What is close? Is close a pass or a fail?
Just give me a second here. 1 second. I'm trying to get I pass.
All right. So you very gently,
59 out of 65. So
with great precision, you were able to remove the page without leaving any indication that a page was ripped, other than the fact that the numbers won't add up. All right, so you've just ripped out a page, and where you're shoving it in a pocket or something like that?
Yeah, I'm going to shove it in my pocket.
All right. So you sit down. Converse comes back inside, and he goes, sorry about that, gentlemen. So where were we? We were talking about 2 locations and your safety net. Yes? You did the home inspection. And
that's right, yes. Sorry, do you have an ashtray in here?
No, I don't. I don't smoke, actually. I hate the taste.
Oh.
There's probably an ashtray out in the bullpen, however.
That's okay. I can wait.
Okay. Now, question from GM to players: how long are you going to keep up the fake golf on the rooftop charade? We're almost to 9 already, and I haven't even gotten to Jeff and Ken. Is there anything else that you'd really like to do here?
Well, given the very instant he looks into the business proposal, he's going to find out that we're not in the least bit legit.
Yeah.
And that we've got absolutely nothing to lose. I'm going to wait for him to sit down.
Okay. So
and just say, look, Converse, I'll level with you. I know what's going on in your office.
And the minute you say that, the color drains right from his face. He looks both shocked and horrified.
Now, I don't necessarily care what you get up to or who you're taking presents from. But I want to know what happened to Tucker.
And he leans forward and says, leave before I call security.
My friend, you put your hand on that telephone and I guarantee it'll be the last thing you ever do.
If you're an investigator and you don't have a subpoena...
I'm not an investigator. I'm not an investigator. I'm just a friend of Mr. Tucker's with whom he had a business arrangement. And I don't like my money going to waste. Now, I would like to know what happened to Mr. Tucker. Then I would like your assurances that the arrangements I had with Mr. Tucker will continue with your office per se.
Give me an intimidate roll.
I'm intimidated.
This could go very badly. My intimidate is 15.
Oh. Roll a bonus dice because it was very. There's a lot of weight. There's a lot of weight to that accusation.
Well, the first dice was 99. So it's all down to the bonus dice. Oh! Can I spend luck on this?
How many luck points?
Well, I rolled 22, and my intimidation is 15, so I'd have to spend 7 luck points, which would take me down to 40 luck points, unless, of course, our luck has been replenished since the last game.
Your luck will not replenish every session, but I will let you know when it does replenish. It will replenish eventually, yes.
Well, in that case, I will spend 7 luck points.
Okay, that's fine.
That's a lot.
It's not gonna replenish all the way, but it's not gonna go all the way back to whatever you once were.
Which makes it a successful intimidation check.
Okay.
Why you?
And he just looks at you, and it's very difficult. There's a lot of emotions that are boiling to the top with this guy. But essentially what he does is he just says, I don't know. Now please leave before I call security. And he doesn't say that.
If someone's, look, just give me a name. If someone's got him out of the picture, just give me a name.
I don't know anything. Please leave. And
he's standing outside your office, Mr. Converse. I heard your conversation. I know you know.
And that's when he slams. And that's when he slams on the desk and he says, I don't know anything, leave. And like he shouts that. So like the people outside have stopped and they are looking in.
Well, out of character for a moment, I think I might have misjudged that situation where it might require more of a kid gloves approach. I guess we're going to have to leave this fight.
Yeah.
He's not angry. That's something that I should point out. He's not shouting at you like he's angry. He's very worried. You can see like sweat. It was almost immediate, like sweat. There's like just like dripping down his bald head. But the people outside, there is a tension. Like they're not angry. They're just like they're waiting for you to leave and for them to go back to work.
I'll be in touch.
will be back. Well,
and as you guys leave, you see him. He reaches down.
I'm going to open the door. I'm going to go and I'm going to open the door.
Okay.
But I'm going to walk very slowly to the door, and I'm going to open the door very slowly. I'm going to do everything just very slightly more slowly than is really appropriate for the situation, just to make a point. Pausing to light my cigarette before I leave.
And you can see that the interns, the assistants, the basic architects, everyone that are at their desks in this very large open area, they're all just standing, and because they were all like huddled over desks and typing, and now they're all just staring at you. Like they've completely stopped what they were doing. They're like in like mid whatever they're doing, but they're just waiting for you to leave. And they all look like.
If there's anyone in front of me, I will blow smoke in their face as I pass them.
No one in front of you. You walk out the door and close it.
Damn.
Okay. With that, we're gonna jump to Tommy and Ken. And William. Just kidding. There's no one named Ken here. Okay, so you guys wanted... Where is the sheet? You wanted to do the nosy neighbor across the street and the doctor. Which one do you think there's more tangibility to? Which one do you want to do first?
They're both equally exciting, so I reckon, Tommy, shall we go to the doctors and check out the medication and then come back to the...
Yeah, that sounds good. That shouldn't take that long. I don't...
No, it doesn't. To briefly sum up what happens there. Dr. Desmura, he invites you in. He tells you what's going on because he's very, you're clearly investigators. You got a hold of the prescription slip, and he's a very understanding, kind person. So he explains to you that Timothy, he had stomach problems, but he was constantly getting sick. However, it wasn't just like, oh, he had stomach problems. Dr. Desmura, in conjunction with other doctors at like Mercy Hospital and some doctors over at Columbia, believe that Timothy has a very weak immune system, surprisingly weak. Like he is barely able to fight off the common cold. It is a huge burden on Timothy. He is constantly sick. He is basically the family doctor.
William asks, Doctor, is there anything in particular that causes that kind of condition?
Genetics, really. Genetics is really the only answer that they have. Because in all senses of Timothy's appearance, he should be and his age, his the condition of the sounds of his heart, his breathing. He's never had any surgery, nothing like that. He should be a relatively healthy individual, but he has problem with fighting off sickness. He has problems with his digestion. It has problems with breaking down things and fighting things off. A very weak immune system.
Well, Doctor, sorry, on you go, Jeff.
Is this something he's had for quite a while, or is this a recent development?
It's all of his life. Like Dr. Desmura has known Timothy for literal years, like a decade, maybe a little over a decade.
Okay.
And how about, obviously we're trying to help we've explained that we're trying to help the family find Timothy. So is there anything else, Doctor, you can tell us that was maybe going on or he's ever divulged that would really help us find him? Because obviously his wife and family are very concerned for his safety.
Nothing really. There's nothing really that I can give to you guys that would help you in your investigation. But in terms of his health, it was off and on. It wasn't ever life-threatening. He never was like, I'm going to die tomorrow if I don't get treatment. But he was constantly sick. Winter, summer, digestion problems, stomach pain, most likely from ulcers, probably due to stress. He was just, his immune system just couldn't handle the outside world.
If he went missing, is this something he would have to have access to medication on a regular basis in order to you know?
Oh no! Like I said, it's not life-threatening. The
Okay.
cold, the common cold. Now it can develop into pneumonia.
Yeah.
But Timothy's been handling this for, I assume, most of his adult life. So I imagine that he knows the precautions, and if he can't get to medicine, he knows which he not always has access to, but he knows home remedies. He knows how to take care of himself. It's been less and less now that he's been taking necessary precautions, wearing gloves to work, and when he's on the subway, he knows what to do, the do's and don'ts of keeping infectious diseases out.
I'm going to look at William a little bit, and I'm going to say, how did he seem upstairs?
Oh, he was fine.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to, because I don't know, since he's going missing, I don't know. Have you met his brother at all?
No, but he did mention him a few times.
Because I'm wondering if maybe that's genetics too. That his brother seemed a little cuckoo, as they say.
Well, we believe that most genetics are most mental problems are either caused by alcohol or drugs, but it could and of course familial interactions. This is the 30s, but it could also have something to do with genetics. Though I can tell you that that Timothy did not have any predisposition towards madness.
Mm-hmm.
Masturbation especially, and pornographic imagery. Just an overall lack of spiritual self. Also homosexual thoughts, but Timothy was definitely not one of those.
Because I know he's got a good job. He's got a wife and a new kid on the way, so he seemed together. But I just wanted to ask that question.
Yeah, no,
Arthur hasn't been in to see you, right?
No, I don't really know Arthur. I've never seen him before in my life. I just heard him mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know, Tommy. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that answers it for me.
Okay.
Yeah, but maybe just say to him if there's anything else that he can think of in the coming days. We give our hotel number, phone number.
Sure. All right. And with that, you leave the doctors to go to the house across the street. All right. Let me pull that up really quick.
William, I don't know. She gave me a look earlier, and I don't think it was kind. So I don't know if she already dislikes me, because I kind of dislike her. So why don't you take the lead, and I'll back you up when it needs to.
Perhaps she'll be attracted to me.
Okay, I didn't see that coming, but yeah, maybe. You got the looks.
The other thing before we even speak to her that I remembered from early on that was mentioned, there was as we go to the house, Thomas, we want to maybe kind of have a glance at the closed down house. I think there was a house that was barricaded up, an abandoned house nearby.
Yeah. There is an abandoned house. It's not abandoned. It's not like decrepit, but it's like no one lives there. They boarded it up to keep the homeless from getting in.
I just remind Tommy though that there was talk, I'm sure if I got it right early on, that
Yes.
there was somebody watching, observing from the abandoned house. So maybe this old lady will help us out.
Okay.
From the house, or wasn't that the old lady herself?
No. There was someone that was at the abandoned house's porch.
It could have been Harry, the investigator, or one of the other investigators.
That's right. I remember now.
Yeah, it was mentioned by Pops and his son.
Yeah.
That there was a man sitting on the porch at the abandoned house that is neighboring the old lady's house.
We just kind of glance at it on the way by as we approach the old lady's place.
Yeah, it's a just a boarded up house. Nothing really of note on the outside that faces the street, but you pull up in front of the old lady's house, and the snow is melted, and you can see that as the snow has kind of gone away, you can see that the grass that was there when the snow fell was very long and thick. It's very matted. You can see twigs all over the ground. She did not take care of her lawn. The pavement is cracked, and there's there are holes from the rain. As you approach the porch, you can hear the wood creak. Who is taking point?
I think I'm supposed to, although I'm not particularly good at charm or anything like that. But I've got good psychology, so I'll try and just do my best here.
Yeah. All the windows have blinds. They're all blinded up, so you can't see inside the house. But
politely tap the door.
Okay, you tap the door. It's just a white door, but there's a little it's one of those brass door windows. The ones where you open it up and you can look out and you can close it. But so you knock. Nothing happens.
Knock again. A little louder.
Okay. You knock a little louder. Nothing happens. Tommy, give me a spot hidden.
She's watching you, Tommy.
80.
All right. You don't really see anything. Okay.
I can't find her name here on my notes, but I know we've had her name in the past. I call her name out through the door.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, her name is Dorothy Campbell.
Mrs. Campbell, Mrs. Campbell, are you home?
And all you hear muffled behind the door is, "Go away! I don't want to talk to you people anymore."
Oh, please, Samantha has said that you're such a nice lady that you might be able to help us. We're desperately trying to find Tommy. Not Tommy. Timothy.
And what you hear is kind of like a shuffle, and then the little door viewer opens up, and she looks at. You can just see her eyes peering at you, and she goes, "Listen to me. If you're Jews, I'm not buying your religion. If you're door-to-door salesman, I'm not buying your vacuums. And if you're here to ask about that house over there, I'm not telling you anything. I'm not talking." And she closes the little viewfinder.
Do you want to kill her, Tommy?
I knew I didn't like her for a reason.
I get my boomerang, open the hatch, and throw it.
Oh, God. Give me a listen roll, both of you.
Oh, dear. Damn.
That's a pass for me.
Okay.
Fail.
Tommy, you heard her come to the door, but you didn't hear her leave.
Okay.
She really wants to talk to us. She's just a nasty so-and-so, I mean, if she's that nosy, she's got to want to gossip,
Yeah.
And if you're saying this, she's probably listening.
No, I'm not saying that out loud. I say through the door, please help us. We know that you keep an eye in the neighbourhood and you make sure you know that there's no nonsense going on, and we really just need your help.
There's a pause. And then it opens up slowly. You see her eyes again. She goes, "You need my help?"
Yes, you're probably the only person that can help us right now on this street.
Is that so?
You seem to know what's going on in this neighborhood.
I do. No
And
one else.
We know there's a lot of strange things going on.
You're telling me. I think that the girls next door, those stepsisters, lesbians. And of course, you know, the family across the street, not those ones you're coming about, but they drink the sauce every night. And of course, those blacks, you know, the grocery store, those coons, they're always looking at me as I come in. And then those over there, that old family, Baptists. Horrible.
We don't know how you put up with it.
The neighborhood has gone downhill.
Of course it is. All we need is Jews now, those Hebes. Well, give me a sec. And she just closes it. You hear a bunch of chains rattling, locks unlocking, and the door opens, and you're immediately hit with the stench of mildew and just this weird. It's a food stench, but you don't know what the food is.
Butterscotch candy, I bet.
It's not butterscotch candy. It's something smells real bad.
I'm relieved. I'm relieved. I thought he was going to say urine.
But you see stacks of stuff, newspapers, cardboard boxes, records, you know, anything. She's clearly a hoarder.
Mm.
And she goes, "Inside, we'll stuck in the living room. That's where I keep eyes on everyone. I got those nice bay windows. They see everything. Come on." And she just kind of like shuffles into it's very dark. It's also very cold. It doesn't look like she has her heater on, or she hasn't put anything in the heater. And none of the lights are on. She's got candles that are kind of lit, and she's just, you know, shuffles into the living room.
I give William a look like, "We going in?"
Yeah, let's go in.
All right.
So I say, you know, more neighborhoods need people like you, you know, keeping an eye on things. And I don't know how you managed to get by with everything that's going on here. Say that
drunks across the street, those Morgans drinking every night. They let their kids run around. They're screaming, hooting, and hollering all night. That's the only reason they let them out so late, so they cannot get caught drinking.
Mm.
And she kind of sits down on this, you know, this old kind of rotting cloth armchair, and she points to another cloth. It's like one of those scratchy cloth. It's like a tweed. Those tweed sofas. She points to it and says, "Well, go sit down. I don't have anything really to drink other than water." "Did you close the door? I didn't hear any of you close the door."
Yeah, Tommy, did you close the door? Do you want to make us some tea, Tommy?
I don't drink tea. Caffeine is from hell.
Amen.
It's what's in that Coke and that Pepsi.
Yeah,
Oh, boy.
I think I'd close the door, but let me just double check. I'll run back and check.
Yeah, you closed it. But she's just crazy. As you look it up, Tom.
Are there cats?
No, there are no cats.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's very quiet.
I was expecting the old cat lady.
No, there's nothing here. And she goes, "All right. So what are you all here about? You mentioned the Tuckers across the street."
Yeah, well, you know, of course, that Timothy's been missing. You know, of course, that Timothy's been missing, and we understand he was maybe sneaking about a little bit or being out late at night. And of course, somebody like you, a good person like you know, keeps her eye on the neighborhood and makes sure it's safe. Maybe would have noticed if he was behaving strangely or there was any strange people hanging about.
Well, yeah, you know, I know all about them Tuckers. You know, Surprisingly, they were nice for the most part. When they moved here about 10 years ago now, I thought they would be miserable young people. But Timothy was quiet, and Samantha always invited me to her little parties, but I stopped going.
Why was that?
The drunks, the coons, and the lesbians. They're all gathering into that house. I couldn't take it. It's like an infection, a virus. I felt dirty after going over there. Samantha was very nice, though. But and she remembers what you asked. And she says, Timothy always went to work at the same time. But he always came back at the same time. He'd leave at 6 a.m. and he'd go south to take the train. I know, I watched him. I got up at 5:30 every morning just to make sure he got out of that house, because if he didn't, then I'd know something wrong happened, the gas leak maybe, and I'd call the cops, and they'd go over there and save him, and I'd be the hero. But he'd always leave 6 a.m. On the dot, he'd walk out the door, head south. And he'd always come back, too, at 7 p.m. Then he'd eat dinner with his wife in the dining room. I watched them a little bit there, too, and they'd go to bed. But 2 months ago, that changed. He wasn't keeping any pattern. People keep patterns, you two. They keep patterns. And he was coming home later than usual. Sometimes he'd come back at 7, sometimes as late as midnight. And he disappeared.
And did he look okay, or did he look as if he was troubled?
That day, that was the 18th, correct?
I think you're right.
Let's see.
I was just trying to look that up, actually.
Well, my memory's not as good as it used to be, but on the 18th, I remember him coming out of the house, and he came out at 6, but he went that way, and she points north.
North.
Didn't take the train, the one they usually took. That's down there.
And this is in the morning?
Yep, 6 a.m. Never came home that day. Everyone else did.
Did he look like he was doing his usual routine? There was nothing strange about him traveling? Apart from the direction.
And she kind of takes in the question, but she's old. And she kind of takes it in and she goes, well, now that you mention it, he didn't look a little strange that morning. It's almost as if she didn't even hear what the actual question was. She's just answering what she thinks the question was. He seemed nervous. It's like she's in her own head. And then I was waiting, and then someone came to their door.
That same morning?
It was about 7 hours later. It was about 1. It was a woman. I know that. She was dressed all strangely, foreign.
What color of hair did she have?
No hair. She wore something over her head. Wore a big dress. It was turquoise. She walked up the steps and she had something in her hand. It looked like a letter. It was about this big, and she kind of makes about a letter size. She had it in her hand, and then she stopped, and then she came back. She walked back down the steps, and she went south. That's where the train is. I know that. That's where Timothy went every day.
Did she post a letter?
Nope. Didn't see anything down there. Cold feet. Foreigners. Probably here to sell us some wacko religion.
So I'm confused. You mean she delivered the letter to Samantha, who was home, or?
No, she didn't even knock. She just stood there, and then, she kind of shuffled around, and then she just quickly left, it in hand.
So you think she was going to post a letter and decided against it and went away? Yeah.
That's what I thought, young man. That's exactly what I thought. You're a very smart young man.
Well, I'm at university,
Oh, education, colleges. That's all a sham. You know that. Everything you need to know is in the good book. Now, let's see here. What else happened?
Now, was there somebody hanging about that abandoned house?
And she's thinking. She's going back and she goes, later that day, saw her at 1. And then she just kind of sits there, just staring off for just like 2 or 3 seconds, and then goes, then the man came.
What man? What man?
The man from the paper. He came up to my door and he knocked, and I didn't know what was going on. I opened it, and it was the man from the paper, and he asked me if a woman stopped by, and if she did, where she went. Well, I told him the same thing I told you. Some wacky foreign lady in a turquoise robe thing walked up to the door, tried to post a letter, came back, went down south towards the station, I reckon. Yep. Very handsome he is.
Like a newspaper reporter, that sort of?
Well, don't be an idiot. You know the man from the paper. Everyone knows.
What's his name? Do you know?
Oh, I don't know. It's in the paper. And she kind of gets up and she moves over to a stack of newspapers. This one's small in comparison to all the other ones. And she just begins like ruffling through the folded papers. And she goes, this one here, this one they wrote, let's see here. Let me pull it up for you. I'm a wee old lady who needs to pull this up so that she can show you on the share thing.
This modern technology.
It's modern technology. It's all you kids with your goddamn technology and your educations. All right. Let's see here. Go ahead and read it. And she hands it to you, and there's a picture, and there's this article, and she points and she goes, this is the man from the paper. You should know him.
Charlie Julian.
No, the one they're writing about. Read it.
Oh, okay.
That's the man who wrote it. I thought you were a smart boy.
Staten Island, New York, after months of construction, traffic rerouting, and backed up plumbing, citizens of Staten Island Borough breathed a sigh of relief with the announced completion of its renewed sewage system. The Public Sewage Network, a campaign spearheaded by Silver Star Enterprises founder George Fulton, has been a major undertaking approved by former borough president Julius Miller. Is it one of these men you're talking about?
Well, it's Mr. Fulton.
George Fulton.
And she points and says, that's his picture right there. And it's a picture. It's just like a medium close-up of him smiling. And yeah, it's just a black and white photo. Very grainy. It's probably just from another film print that they've blown up to that size. Well, you keep reading. I like it when you read. And she just kind of leans back and she just kind of looks off in the distance as you read it aloud.
Okay. After Galley Street flooded in August last year, closing dozens of businesses and resulting in thousands in both commercial and city repair costs, the Staten Island Borough petitioned for an increase in budget. Though it was slow to start, once the renovations were approved, progress was already underway. Silver Star Enterprises, a corporate conglomerate working out of Manhattan, was immediately tasked with revitalizing the public work after owner and senior member of the company, George Fulton, offered in a pitch to the local government that he'd be willing to do it all for free. Very interesting. I didn't do it for the money, says George Fulton about the project days before its completion. When I heard about the destruction of the Galley Street flooding and then the subsequent renovation plans, I knew what I had to do. I lived in Staten Island as a young man. I don't have to imagine what it must be like with the murky water, terrible plumbing, and the like. I lived it. Now, with my status and wealth, my business, I have the means to give it back. This is a philanthropic action, nothing more, nothing less. Fulton described the new cisterns and tunnels beneath the city like one would be the greatest of world marvels. It is Silver Star Enterprises' hope that this new system revitalizes a slummy borough, bringing future comfort and clean water for everyone who lives there. What a nice man he sounds like.
He was a very nice man when he came to my door, and he just asked me, if I saw anyone, a woman specifically. He said, "Did I see a woman come around here?" And I told him that woman went over there to that house over there, and then went down south. Went to the station.
Did he say why I was looking for that woman?
No, she just asked, and I didn't ask him. That's impolite.
Certainly.
I did not ask him. But then, he left, and then all of the others came. They all came asking me questions. First, it was those four that they ganged me up as I was leaving the grocery. I thought I was going to get raped right there in the street.
Oh my.
They all just came out of nowhere. But they asked me questions. There was a man. His name was Harry. His name was Harry. He was
an investigator. Was he an investigator?
That's what he told me. He said, "Well, where did you think Timothy went? What time did you see him leave? Have you noticed anything strange coming around anyone strange coming around the house?" And I told them that I didn't care. I wasn't talking to them. They cornered me. The man, he left me alone after that, him and his others. There were three of them. Or four of them, not including Harry.
Did they show you identification?
No, not that I think of. But
do you think they were really investigators?
Of course they were. Why would they be? You're investigators, aren't you?
Yes.
Why would they be asking me questions if they weren't investigators? Unless you're not investigators.
No, we're investigators, okay.
Oh, okay, there we go. That answers your question there, you little mister. All right. Well, and then the man, he left me alone. But then I'd see over there on the house next door, I'd see one of those four just standing there on the porch. He's smoking cigarette after cigarette. They just stand there. And I thought about calling the police on them a few times, but they didn't do nothing. They just stood there. And they were investigators, and they weren't hurting nobody, so I didn't call the cops. Well, and then that's, of course, when that big fat oaf from across the street, he came over here, and he started asking me, he asked me a question, and I told him to get lost. And then police were with him. Well, they came before him. I'm sorry. They came before the big pudgy man. He was wearing a mustard suit. The police came, and they asked me, and then when he finally came, I said to screw off. I'm done talking to you people. And
yeah,
that was that.
You've had it hard, all these people coming and asking you questions. So we're really sorry to be asking you more questions, but you're the most helpful person on the street.
Well, of course I am. It's because I'm not full of sin, young man. I go to the cathedral 2 blocks over, and you should too. No, not like those Huckabees over there. Those goddamn heathens are Baptists. They don't even believe in the Saint Mary, I don't think.
Well, that sounds like a swell idea.
Yes. More young people like you need the Book of God in your lives, because all you people do, all you young people, you think that, all this science and stuff doesn't make any sense to me. I didn't ever have a need for it, and look at me, I'm doing just fine.
Glance at Tommy to see if he's got anything else on his mind.
I was just compliment her, that say that she looks rather good for her age of 52.
I'm not 52. Like 78.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, you're doing something right.
Yeah, it's. I told you what I'm doing right. Are you listening to me?
It's good living.
Yeah, she's living good and living right.
All right. Well, I'm done answering your questions. I'm tired now. Go away. I gotta eat my lunch.
Okay. Well, is there anything we can do to help you? Because you've been so helpful today. Do you need anything from the little store down the road?
I can get myself things from the store, thank you very much. What I need is for you people to leave me alone.
Okay, well, if there's anything else that comes to mind, and if you think you can help out, just give us a wave and when we're passing, and we'll come and see you.
That's fine.
Thank you so much. You are a great citizen in this town.
Well, thank you. We need more good citizens like you people doing investigating and stuff like that. Now go.
Goodbye then. Have a great day.
Okay. And she slams the door behind you. Okay.
That was great.
Now I'm going to ask the group of players a question.
Go on.
All right.
Okay. Oh.
From here on out, you have two very solid leads, clearly. Okay. Which one would you rather do? The bank or following up with the city hall thing? They will still exist, but these are the two scenario routes. Which one would you like to do first?
Well, we can't do anything with the bank yet because we don't have the info.
Which one would you like to do first, the bank or city hall?
I'm gonna vote for City Hall because I think City Hall is connected with the Staten Island sewer thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
The interesting thing about that story and that company, George Fulton and Silver Star, is he specifically went and asked for the woman. He was after the girl. So that's a direct connection to, could that be Tally?
I was wondering that, yes.
I think it's got to be.
Mm-hmm.
Rather exotically dressed.
Yep.
Yeah.
And also the letter, maybe a love letter or maybe a letter to his wife to say that there's something going on. Who knows? But she decided not to deliver it. But the fact that George Fulton was asking specifically shows that he's got a direct interest in her.
Yeah.
So Thomas, can we do that and the bank or the city?
Which one would you rather do?
Well, like I said before, City Hall for me.
City Hall.
Thomas, what are you asking? Are you telling us that if we do the City Hall thing, that we're not going to get back to the bank thing until much later?
Yes. As I told you in the last episode, there are groups of information, as the dog barks in the back. There are groups of clues that you guys are kind of all you're merging them or you're piecing them together and doing all this. You're speculating all this stuff.
Well, we have the information. We have a lot of information on City Hall, and at least my character would feel like the bank stuff. We're going to find that out eventually, anyway.
Okay.
There's nothing to do. So.
Okay. City Hall is 3. What about Tommy and Ken? Or, God damn it, Jeff and Ken.
Okay.
I want to go about interviewing old ladies on a regular basis because they've got a lot of information.
Okay.
Happy to go with the team.
I'm generally quite suspicious that Tommy and William might be Gerontophiles.
Probably.
Yeah, I tend to agree. We have, I think, more juicier, concrete leads with the City Hall stuff.
All right. And then I would like Felix, because Corey left, to give me an intelligence roll.
I have 2 questions too.
Yes. Okay. Let's have the intelligence roll first.
69 out of 70.
All right. I don't know if this was what you were intending to do later, but I'm just going to give you the idea. Remember that Greta didn't really get a ton of information. She was hoping you would.
Right.
Felix is. I'm asking you to do the roll because Corey just left and Corey had the information.
Okay. Although I don't know the relevance of the ledger page that Fowler got hold of, but I could get in touch with her and certainly could tell her about the letter I found from Giles.
Okay.
It does tend to, at the very least, indicate that Giles is potentially a weak link.
Okay. All right. I just made a note of it. Jeff, 2 questions.
First one, I think I'm going to ask Epstein first, in that I wasn't entirely clear when you overheard the conversation going on in that office with Harry and so forth. Did you hear them like actually admit to doing something potentially bad or illegal?
One of them, who I think was Converse, seemed to suggest that he knew who had got rid of Timothy. And they were talking about zoning in a way that made it, well, they were talking about what we now know to be the zoning in a way that made it quite clear that they were both complicit in the process of bribery, which was further supported by the discovery of the letter.
Although it sounded like one of them, which I think was Harry, wanted out of it. Is that what you got?
Harry did want out, is what you got.
And then I guess the other question is, the Seabury Commission?
Yes.
Is that like who's behind that? Is that like a police investigation? Is that like a third party?
Okay. So, the Seabury Commission was formed by Governor Roosevelt, essentially tasking the state of New York to look into New York City Hall. Who is in charge of that task force and in charge of the prosecution? Not air quotes. He's in charge of the prosecution. Judge Seabury, which is why it's called the Seabury Commission. So essentially what's happening is that Seabury is in charge of the lawyers and the prosecutors and having investigators go out and gather witnesses and gather pieces of evidence. And this is all real. You can look it up on Wikipedia. It's on Wikipedia. You can nothing is spoiled in looking it up on Wikipedia and learning about it.
Okay.
It's essentially, it started off relatively small. It was kind of like it wasn't like petering, but it was, investigators doing some things here and there and asking departments to like hand over their files, and we're gonna go through them. But then Vivian Gordon said, I'm a prostitute. I have information on Jimmy Walker, the mayor, that could put him in jail. And the Seabury Commission said, Judge Seabury said, you're going to testify. We're going to get you sworn in. You're going to give us a statement. Before she could give the statement, she was found dead. So that's what ramped up the Seabury Commission. That's why they're going gung-ho. That's why investigators are everywhere and people are freaking out because someone died now. It's very clear that someone's trying to cover something up, and Seabury and the governor are now taking it really seriously, which means that a lot of people could lose their jobs. A lot of people could be going to jail. Yeah.
And they're looking into the mayor, right? He's sort of top of this?
Yes, the mayor is the person who everything's culminating to the mayor. They want to get everybody else. It was a very big thing, the Secret Commission. They were looking to take down like everybody at City Hall, but their main goal was Walker.
So the thing with the prostitute, has that already happened?
Yes. That's what Greta was saying in the last episode. The prostitute was found strangled to death in a park.
So this stuff is being in the newspaper probably every day.
Yes. It's a big deal. It's why people are protesting in the street right now, because it's clear that the Walker administration is. I wasn't kidding. They're literally raping the city.
I'm not in the discussion, but I think you need to get that ledger into the hands of the judge, the lawyers. That's going to be Hawk's constant recommendation.
But that's what's going on. Like the Seabury Commission is a very real thing. Like the entire upper legions of City Hall could be going to jail for life. And we're talking about like the police commissioner, the mayor, the comptroller, the treasurer, like everybody that Mayor Walker has appointed or like handed bribes to or something like that. Like anyone, like even lower people, if they were involved, they're going to get arrested.
It's big, I tell you.
It's huge. It's the entire upheaval of New York government, all being led by one person, a team of lawyers, and then a team of state investigators, basically. Like Judge Seabury holds the entire city in his hand, and and as the papers, if you'll pick them up and read them, or if you go on Wikipedia and you look through them, people were speculating like if there's an investigation, much like today. If there's an investigation and it's been going on for so long and there's no evidence, they should just say that he did nothing wrong. Like there's no evidence, it's taking too long, but it's speculated by the newspapers that they're building a very, very, very strong case, like foolproof. Like they can't get out of this.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Walker. He looks guilty. He looks like he used a car salesman.
Did you look him up?
I just looked his Wikipedia picture up.
Yep. Jimmy Walker, Mayor Jimmy Walker.
I had no idea about all of this stuff. I only knew Jimmy Walker as the CEO of Majestic Records.
Yes, yes.
Didn't realize he'd been the mayor. Same guy. Yeah.
Same guy.
I only knew him as from the TV show Good Times.
Yeah, no.
I was hoping to find a picture of Fulton, but I can't find one.
No, George Fulton. No.
I think Fulton Mackay then.
But yes, Jimmy Walker is a very real person, and he is a very real bad person. He's a bad guy. Like, when I say that Jimmy Walker is using the police as his hit squad, he is using the cops as a hit squad.
Dynamite.
All right. So, we've got 6 minutes. So I want to do this. I want to do it like this. Felix, you're gonna call Greta up, right?
Yep.
Okay. So you go to a payphone and you pick up and dial her, and she goes. What was the goddamn newspaper she's in charge of?
Oh, I thought for a moment you were going to make me remember
the New York
phone number.
Is it the Herald? It's not the Herald. Is it? Herald Tribune. Yeah, it's the Herald Tribune. She goes, Herald Tribune, this is Greta.
Hi, this is Epstein. I've just been to City Hall to see your man Converse.
And she sounds giddy, and she goes, have you? What did he say? What did he say?
Well, he said very little, but it's more what he didn't say. I mean, the man was scared out of his wits.
So something is going on.
Yeah, sounds to me like someone's bumped off Timothy, and that guy Converse, believe me, he knows who did it.
All right. Well,
But he's too scared of them to say anything.
Listen.
So we did find something. There's a fella he works with, Giles. Giles is the weak link, I think.
What do you mean he's the weak link?
I think if you put the moves on him, he'll spill the beans.
All right. Well, listen. Let's meet. Let's meet right now. I can meet you for lunch here. Where are you? Are you at the municipality building?
I'm just up the block from there. Yeah.
Okay. Go north about 4 or 5 blocks, and then turn left. You're gonna see a diner on the corner. I'll be there in about 15 minutes. Just order, okay?
Okay.
All right. So you're gonna go to the diner?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me prepare this. I want to make sure that you have it and that everyone sees it. Okay.
I'll go to the diner and I'll order some grits.
You're ordered grits.
In New York City?
I don't know. Well, I don't know, do I? All right. I'll have a bagel and a pretzel.
No, you don't.
And
A hot dog. Sort of hot dog.
Some good old fashioned New York fish and chips.
No.
Lashings of traditional Brooklyn HP sauce.
I'm actually going to make this bigger.
You were good all the way up to fish and chips. Pizza.
Okay.
Slice of pizza pie.
Pizza pie. All righty. So.
Nobody says the pie part.
All right. So, you sit you down. You order.
Martin does.
When the moon hits the sky like a big pizza pie, and that's what's playing on the jukebox. As it's probably not because
it probably isn't because it hasn't been recorded.
Yeah, it hasn't been recorded yet.
Yes. So.
It is though. It came back from the past or the future. So you're sitting there. You ordered all this stuff. Greta walks in. She's not. She dressed to the nines. Looks great. But now in the light, very young. Like not like 18, but like she is in her mid-20s. And she sits down and she leans forward and says, "So you're saying that Giles is the weak link? Do you think that he knows what happened to?"
Giles is the weak link. Apparently, whoever's feeding them the moolah wanted them to rezone a huge area of the city.
How huge?
Like spreading from was it 186th to 143rd?
No, it was like a 6-block zone.
It's like a 6-block zone, which
is still huge, like lowering an entire district line.
Giles was concerned that it's going to mean that loads of houses would be rezoned, that they wouldn't be compliant with the existing regulations. Houses would have to be demolished. People would have to do work on their houses. I don't know who the hell's got that kind of muscle.
Well, that's the whole. That's what we're all going towards. No one. And she kind of looks around and she leans forward and says, "No one's really interested in what's going on at City Hall. City Hall is just like one little cell of corruption. It's the whole damn picture. And we're not even talking about, Walker. We're talking about who the hell these people are.
Mm.
Who's the one funneling this money? They're just as complicit in this as Walker is, if not more. They're the ones.
Yeah, Giles sounds really unhappy with the situation.
Well, listen.
And look, I mean, I'd advise you if you're going to try and have words with him to do it quickly, because after what happened to Tucker, wouldn't surprise me at all if Giles went missing pretty soon.
Okay, listen. Well, something I said at the bar was, as I had something else, right? Now I went to the I went to the municipality building twice. First time, I asked a few too many questions. They kicked me out. Second time, I didn't even get past the first floor. Okay? But you know what's on the first floor? Is the stairs to the basement. And that's where the mailroom is. So I did a little looking around. And she pulls out a small slip of paper, and she pushes it towards you. She says, "This was in an unmarked envelope. It was going up to the city planner's office." And she shows you this. Can you see that?
Not all of it. Hang on, I'll have to turn off the. Oh, okay. Hide the thumbnail videos.
Can everyone else hear it or see it?
Yes.
Yes. For those listening, it's just a bunch of letters. It looks some sort of code, probably. Either that or it's Norwegian. Dein Glows Finton Hongen Lunsen Senten TTT missing root.
All right.
Is it
It's a
where
meatball
that big
dish.
volcano is?
Yes, that's that famous Icelandic volcano that everyone's raving about. All right, I am going to. I know that I saw Tom writing it, but I'm going to send this to you guys after the game. All right.
Well, you need to send me everything after the game because I gotta put it all.
Yeah, I'll send everything to you. But she slips that to you and she says, "No, I don't know what this is, but I think if you and clearly Mr. Fowler and me, if we're on this, we can take this probably straight to the top. When we figure out who sent this, it was clearly meant for someone up there. We just got to figure out what it says and act on it."
Oh, well, you know, I'm a magician. I love a puzzle.
All right. And we're going to end there. Yeah, I know, Tom.
It says, "My typewriter keys are stuck."
I hate you. I hate everything about you.
All right. Our players included Mick Swan, Jeff Wilkins, Corey Highstead, Ken Trench, and myself, with Thomas McKeon as the keeper of the secrets. We're currently producing 4 shows a week with music and sound effects added in post-production. In order to create a richer listener experience, we provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. One of our patrons, Thomas Krokida, upped his contribution to a whopping $20 a month. Thank you so much, Thomas. And I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce your last name correctly.
Thank you.
Thank you, Thomas.
If you'd like to become a patron, visit our Patreon account. Just $1 or $2 a month helps us a lot. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel for updates on our latest shows, and punch the bell icon. Well, yeah, to get the updates. And leave us some comments. We love hearing from you. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.